Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Daniel, the co-founder of Lead Summit, is here. And really, we wanted to just jump on and talk about sales, closing, and how you guys can close more deals. Because we recently had a client, which I've already done a video on, in Victoria, who, with a couple of little bits of sales advice that we gave, they closed 4 jobs in 24 hours. So yeah, just wanted to jump on here, provide some additional value with you guys, and just go through sales and how you guys can convert more of the leads that you're getting.
Awesome. Thank you, Cody. So every time we sign on a new client, they say that they want more leads, which is what they think that they want. But really, they want more sales, right? And people are constantly asking us to maybe either up the ad spend or, they're maybe giving us feedback that the leads aren't that good when really they're not practicing good sales tactics. And if they could just work on sales a little bit more, if they could focus a little bit more in on trying to convert the leads that they've already got, they're going to get a much better result, right? So my first tips would be speed to lead. And this is something that we push really, really hard. It's a well-known fact that if you take longer than 5 minutes to engage with a new lead, someone that's just inquired, your chances of converting that lead into a paying client drops by 80%. And that's because, people want instant gratification, right? If something's top of mind now, let's say you're calling a plumber, right? If you call that plumber and they don't answer, you're just going to call the next one and the next one and the next one until someone answers and gets you what you want. And that's the same across all industries, right? So it's really, really important that as soon as someone submits an inquiry, you give them a call within that 5-minute window, right? And look, at the end of the day, some people aren't going to be able to pick up the phone right away. Some people, might be at work, they might be with family, friends, it might be late at night. So you need to call them over the period of that first week at least 5 times, right? And you need to be texting them as well. And people need to really, really not worry too much about, contacting people too often, because when they fill out the inquiry form, they're giving you consent to contact them, right? They've told you that they want you to contact them, or just make sure that you are including that in the inquiry form, that you will be contacting them. That's my first tip that everyone should adhere to, is that speed to lead, right? And we have some fancy technology that we use, AI and automations to kind of plug that gap. But it's still, to this day, it does not. It's all the AI and automation still don't replace a human being calling that lead. So something else that is really, really important is to set up some really good nurturing sequences, right? So depending on what product it is that you're selling, I think if it's above $99, it's not really considered an impulse purchase. People will need to have a bit of a think about it. Do I really need this? A lot of our clients are selling things upwards, they're in the thousands, multiple tens of thousands of dollars. So that they need days, weeks, or even months to come to that purchase decision, right? So nurturing sequences are super important to, continue to show people who you are, what you do, and why they should spend money with you, right? And when someone submits that inquiry form, they are giving you at least their name, email, and phone number, right? That's a direct line of communication in with them. And it's really important that you take advantage of that, right? So if you think about, since the beginning of time, you buy a case of beer, it's like, scan this QR code, or like, text this to this number, give us your name, email, and phone number to enter a competition. That's because they want to contact you, right? They're putting you into their nurturing sequences. And large businesses have done this for a very, very long time. And, with the software that we're using, we're able to bring that to the small business scale. But, it is really important that business owners do kind of tinker with it, add their own kind of nurturing element to it. Every single company's kind of approach is a little bit different. Their offering's different. So it's really important to focus on that nurturing sequence, because, anyone who's ever submitted an inquiry to us will know that they do go through nurturing sequences. We're very open and honest about that. And we do get people every week come back through the nurturing sequence, right? And it just, you create it once and it works for you on autopilot. And obviously we update that every now and then with different testimonials, different results that we're getting for our clients. And, the same sort of thing our clients should be doing for their leads as well. When it comes to the actual sales call, right? A lot of people are not that experienced in phone sales, right? And there's some really, really simple and basic principles that you can follow, right? So the first one is when you call someone, like a new lead, the first question you ask them should be a question that they say yes to, right? And that question is this Cody speaking? Right? If I'm calling you, Cody,
Yep.
hey, is this Cody speaking?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And so now we're starting it off with a yes, not, hey, is this a good time to talk? Because then you're giving them an option to say no. And look, if I say this,
flight or fight, it's that typical sort of response. They're always going to say no because they're thinking, well, who's this? Are they going to pitch me something? Or, their guard's up. As soon as you ask that question, their guard's automatically up.
Yep. And then, every single one of the leads that we generate for our clients, someone submitted an inquiry form, right?
Yep.
And so then the next one we'll follow on from that yes, right, to I'm just getting back in touch with you in regards to your inquiry with us.
Yep.
You inquired with me. You wanted me to contact you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting back in touch with you. Yep. And then you can, what I would recommend is you can specifically call out the date and the time that they inquired. Hopefully it was you just inquired, so it's top fresh in their mind. But a lot of the time it's not the case. So you'll reference the date and the time that they inquired. And then they'll say, at this point, most people will say, oh, yep, I did inquire. And then, you kind of want to start to go straight into the qualifying questions, right?
Yep.
And for the most part, the guys that we're generating inquiries for, they're not trying to sell immediately on the phone on that first call because, again, it's not an impulse purchase. They're usually trying to collect a little bit of information so that they can either then decide, all right, do I need to go to that person's home or can I put together a quote based on the information I've got? But you do kind of want to try to build a little bit of rapport. Maybe ask them, so what's brought you to us, right?
Yeah.
Can you please let us know why you've inquired? Let them tell you what their problem is. And then during that response there, of course, they're going to tell you, if the reason why they've inquired, right? If it was, let's say if it was a bathroom renovation, because, I need to renovate my bathroom, my current bathroom, it's, it's this size and, I'm looking at spending this much. And, I just kind of wanted to gauge what cost would be with you. So during that time, that they're explaining to you why they inquired, you can pick up a few little bits that you can then refer back to and continue to refer back to that, right? So obviously for air conditioning installers, which is, who we're working with for the most part, they'll tell you whether they have an existing unit that might be broken or whether they, their home's insulation isn't good. So they, it's too hot or it's too cold and the size of their home and that kind of thing. So based on that information that they give you, can continue to refer back to that. And, once you actually have provided them with a quote, let's say, so you've collected the information, you get to the point where you've done the quote now you have to follow up. I can't stress enough, most of the people when they come to us, they just cross their fingers and they hope that person's gonna book with them, and that's simply not enough. That is nowhere near good enough. You have to follow up. You've put in all of that time. They've paid us. They've paid Facebook for the leads. They've spent their time calling them, collecting the information, putting together the quote, and then to just leave it is just criminal, right? So first of all, nurturing sequence is awesome in that case, right? So for our clients, 24 hours later, they get a text message and an email, the lead, and they will, that will read something along the lines of, hey, I'm just checking whether you've had a chance to review the quote. Did you want to go ahead or do you have any questions, right? Something as simple as that is awesome. But even better than that is a phone call, right? If you can call them and catch them on the phone. And let's say now they've said, "Oh, hey, okay, I am interested," right? And this is like a line that we gave, as you mentioned earlier, to one of our clients, which does work, right? So let's say you've quoted them $2,000, right?
Yep.
And they might say, "Look, it's a little bit expensive." Then the line that you use is, "Okay, so is price the only thing that's holding you back?" Yes. If they say yes, great. If no, then okay, what is it? Is it the install date? Like, is it do you want some extra kind of servicing or whatever that might be? But let's say it's price. If they say yes, price is the only thing that's holding me back. Then you say, so if I can get the price to a point where you're happy, will you be able to pay the invoice today? The answer is going to be yes, because if price was the only issue, and if you can get the price to a point where they're happy, then they'll pay. So then what you want to do is have a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of margin that you can play with, right? If you maybe cannot discount at all, then try to include additional value. It might be, additional warranty, additional cleaning, additional servicing, an upgrade to a bigger unit or whatever it might be. And you need to have some kind of negotiating tools, right? If you don't know what they are, think about it, right? Sit down and think, what are all of the things that I could include, right? Some of our guys do free rust proofing. Some of them will do free like gecko protection. Others will do a free bracket. Some of them are free concrete slab. Others will include additional warranty. Maybe they'll add some extra feature if it's a ducted system, maybe some kind of Wi-Fi connector. You need to have in your mind an understanding of how you can, beef up a deal. And that will work, right? And you might then say to them, look, we have to lock in your install today because we don't really have much availability. I have, let's say, 3 spots over the next 2 weeks. If you can pay your deposit today, we can get you locked in, right? I always recommend that you take a deposit using some kind of electronic payment service like Stripe, because once you're an approved payee, you can then like debit the additional amount that they owe you later on. Yes, you will get paid, you will pay that fee to Stripe or whichever the payment provider is. But in my opinion, it's actually worth it because you then don't have to chase them around. I can't tell you the number of people who have just probably gotten a free air conditioning system because the installer just forgot to collect the money and it's just gone, because a lot of the guys that we work with, before they come to us, they're quite unorganized. So being able to collect that payment is really important. Look, those are kind of some basic tips. There's probably a lot more that we could go through. There's at every different point of the sales cycle, there's some kind of advice we can give. But for now, I think that should probably help quite a few people. Just implementing those like verbatim would definitely help.
Fantastic, Daniel. I think those are some awesome tips. So you guys definitely should implement them. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.